Hello everyone and welcome to episode 39 of SnowRunner on hard mode. And we're back in a freshly repaired and refueled Pacific P16 to continue on with the long journey of getting this big old trailer to the drilling site. So obviously last time we got to essentially where we left off there after nailing one of the tyres, the fuel tank, and quite a few other features of the truck on one of these wonderful little metal barriers on the side of road, and then had to go on a big old drive to get a service trailer here. But we're repaired, we're refueled, we're re-wheeled, so we can continue on with the journey. I've literally just said what I said in the intro, but twice. Oh, shine a light, what have I done there? That'll learn me for not concentrating. But I'm glad I didn't flip that straight away. That would have made an interesting opening. Right, concentration time though. Mostly. Look at that view though, nice. We have got a bit of a tricky section here with rocks. So it's time to whack it into low range and creep on round this corner and hope for the best. Just grind it on the rocks a little bit. Yeah, just a tad there. Oh, lovely. As mentioned last time, I'm very glad there's no trailer damage in this, because that would have been a rough spot there. And if you sat there wondering why I just kept it in low range for so long, I was just doing some extremely skillful one-handed driving whilst sipping a coffee. But that is over now. I'm slightly terrified of smacking into another one of these side barriers and once again nailing the truck. But hopefully we got that out of the way last episode and it won't happen again. I think we're actually around the bulk of the sort of winding mountain path now. So we're mostly on to what should be a hopefully fairly straightforward drive up to the farm entrance. And then from there on in, it is off-roading time with this big old beast. I decided to take the longer route to the drilling site because it offers us the widest tracks to head on down. When the little yellow marker, you know, that one to the drop-off zone, just popped up on the screen there, I've been playing a bit of Star Wars Battlefront recently, and I thought it was a grenade indicator at first. So I was ready to cower in the corner and get blown to bits. And I really mean a bit of Star Wars Battlefront. I probably played it for about half an hour the other day, and that was the first time in months, if not years. I've just finished watching Season 2 of Andor and Rogue One. Watch that again. Very, very good series, Andor is. So I was kind of in a bit of a Star Wars mood. I actually think Andor is the best Star Wars piece of media ever. Possibly controversial opinion, better than the original films, better than any of the other films, better than any of the TV series. Like, Andor is the best Star Wars, in my opinion. I'm sure that might stir up some fights in the comments. If not, that's fine too. And if you disagree with me, that's totally cool. We're all allowed our opinions here. Alright, this is a turn. I was going to whack it in low range, but I think that actually knackers your turning circle a bit. And this thing's got a rough one to begin with. So we'll see if we can not bounce off that pipe or upright thing. The PlayStation's just gone nuts. The fan's gone mental because an update has just finished downloading. That's exciting. You, of course, won't hear that. You won't see it on screen because it's not recording those things. But there you go, pointless commentary for you. And this is proving fun. I think just brute force my way around it. Just stop for a bit of coffee. And continue. So I think I said before, but I have no memory of doing this mission in normal mode beyond kind of the first couple of bits of road in Drummond Island. No memory of doing this in Smithfield Dam. So I don't know what route I took. I think it's this one. I think it is the way that I'm going because it seems to be the only sensible route on paper to try and do this. But yeah, just no memory at all of doing it. So that's fun. I'm just wondering, so we took 50 litres of fuel to get from there to there. I'm just thinking about whether I bring up the GMC and fuel it up before going into the farming zone. And to be honest, I think I'm going to do that. It shouldn't take too long to get there. In fact, what I will do is actually time-lapse this, just so it doesn't impact the video as much, and you've just seen me drive through anyway. So I will see you at the Pacific, all being well. Right, here we are. Refuel the Pacific. Front fuel tank. I know it's only 51 litres, but we've got to get in there. We've got to deal with some tricky terrain, and we have to get back out again. And there's no fuel in there, so I thought I'd give us as much of a chance as possible. Too far away. Right, back in the beast. Let's hope that we're okay to plough up the waterlogged driveway with this. We've done okay with some of the other trucks. Don't have all-wheel drive in this, but we do have the extended winch and always on diff lock on those rear four wheels, so we should have a reasonable chance. I think we've even got a snorkel on this, haven't we? Yeah, it's that weird wedge thing on the side. Not that this water's anywhere near deep enough to need it, but you know, better safe than sorry. Okay, so we got through the water alright. So now it's really just an endurance challenge, really, getting this up there. I don't think too much of this route is going to be particularly treacherous. Treacherous? Treacherous. I can't quite say that properly. Treacherous. It's possibly going to sound insane on the recording. I don't think any of this route is going to be particularly difficult. But you never know. You never know. I may have just sealed our fate in a horrid manner by saying that. Shout out to whoever commented a few weeks ago saying that I need to stop saying things are going well, because it always seems to curse me. You were not wrong. Although I hope today that that's wrong. We had enough of a palaver with the Pacific last episode. I don't like the look of that rock. Nah, it's alright. We've wedged our way over it. I feel like it's been a little while since we've been up this route. Onto this side of the map. Particularly this kind of northern trails, if you like. I'm going to winch myself up for a bit of assistance there. Take some pressure off the engine, I think. You can see that the fuel burns quite high at the moment. You can see we're already down to where we were before we fueled it with the GMC, so I think getting that extra 50 litres of fuel was probably the right decision. It's always good to have that little safety blanket there, or that safety net of fuel. So we need to go right here. we've got a random empty trailer there. I can't remember whether that's been there since the start of the game or whether I dumped it at some point. Either is entirely possible. More grenade indicators. Getting a bit tough here. I think this is probably the steepest incline that we've got to traverse up for this part of the journey. I think once we get around this little corner here, it's more kind of downhill for the rest of the way. And of course, winch helping us. Where possible too. Okay, so there's still a bit of uphill to go. It didn't flatten out around the corners I thought it did, but this still looks a little shallower. I think this is the beginning of our downhill now. Ooh, very muddy though. It looks like it's kind of sunset in the game already, which seems quick, because I think when I started this journey, it was early morning in the game. Mine dropped in the GMC as well. Don't like the angle that I've just brought the trailer down on. It's okay. This little section here was actually the bit that I'm most worried about from this route, just because it's quite tight, and I think there's some kind of steep embankments on either side of the road that could mean us waving bye-bye to our trailer or it getting stuck on a big pole. So we've just got to sort of wedge our way around this one, I think. probably be a couple of weird little jump cuts on this route, as I've stopped once or twice to dive into photo mode, which I know is fairly standard behaviour for this. What was that? A hole with a rock in it? Wonderful. Devilish little trick. Oh, I completely forgot about the high range gear, which could have been useful for parts of this journey. Not there though, because apparently I was going too slow. Right, almost here. So we've got some metal beams there, which I think is our next step. So we can thank past Chimp for bringing those. And I think this is the one where we can just literally just, as long as we get nose in with the trailer, it'll complete for us. Just like that. Wonderful. Stage complete. So 2 metal beams. This is going to be one of the quickest stages yet. Although, thank you very much, SnowRunner, for putting this conveyor belt right in the way. Just a lovely added challenge there. Yeah, had to be over the raised bit. Force me through pond. Lovely. I'm glad I put that fuel in. I'm looking at my tank at the moment, because we'd be down to about 100 now otherwise. A little more than that, but even so. Good to have plenty to get out with now. Oh, piss. Oh, I've not seen that before. Don't tell me I'm stuck. Okay. That is fine. We're gonna go over here. Very muddy. Very, very muddy here. Alright, we should be okay now. Yeah, because nothing actually happened anywhere near where the trailer was, but okay. Thank you, SnowRunner. So, last up, it is oil rig drill, which we need from up north. So, we're going to go out. We could probably go the short way this time. I don't know what that little waypoint was going to do. I want to go that way, and that way. I think, bear with me a second, because I'm just going to look at some of the missions and just see if there's a more logical way to do this, a more efficient way to do this. No, there isn't. Well, there might be, but I was wondering whether I could use the Fleet Star to bring in the oil rig drill on a different flatbed, but then I'm just going to end up with 2 trucks sat here when one will be absolutely fine. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm going to end up here what? Essentially, I'm going to end up here regardless anyway. So, taking this out and then bring it back in is fine. If I went out with the... So if I went out and brought the Fleet Star in, then I'd end the mission here. I wouldn't have moved the Pacific, but I'd then just have 2 trucks within this kind of... Well, sat exactly here. Essentially what I'm saying is there's nothing that I can take out with me. I'm slightly wary of bringing in the oil rig drill on this trailer without any sort of side to it. I think as long as we're careful, I'll go the same route that we just took the big trailer. So as long as I'm careful on the corners and stuff, I shouldn't flip it enough. I hopefully won't flip it enough to drop the cargo off. Yeah, can you imagine trying to do this route with the big trailer that I just brought through? I mean, it's disastrous enough right now. Like, really disastrous. Like, oh no, disastrous. Good grief, that was close. I think I got incredibly lucky with a quick winch there. I almost went out the way that we came in. But I kind of thought to myself, I was like, oh no, this way will be a little bit quicker. It's a bit of a shortcut. And that was a mistake, wasn't it? This is proving to be a bit of a challenge. My own fault for coming this way. Work out what I was stuck on then, if anything. I think it might have been a branch on the floor. as there's quite a lot of them. I don't know whether maybe the trailer was caught on something or not. Yeah, I've sort of ballsed it up by coming this way, haven't I? Oh well, wouldn't be one of my videos without a colossal mistake. And thankfully the nature of this place is lots of trees, which therefore means lots of bunching. Two tiny bridges to get over here. I'm going to put myself in low range, just I'm not even going to try that, because those type of bridges was how I completely flipped the Pacific about 2 minutes after getting it on normal mode originally. Fell off one of those things on Drummond Island, so I'm just going to hopefully power my way through this. I can winch onto the watchtower itself, so that ain't going to fall over. Quite funny if it did, but it's not going to. Oh, piss. I didn't mean to drive into it, though. It's hard to see in my defence, you know. Big metal tower with lights on. I'm now having to go a stupid way around this big rock formation. Oh, I really ballsed it up coming this way, don't I? We should now be able to turn, cut through this forest, and get the hell out of here. In fact, I'm going to take another risky manoeuvre here. I hope that plays out. Into forest driving camera. Oh, Jesus. Bouncing log right there. Right, that shortcut worked a treat. Until I got stuck. Let's avoid the muddy field and return to the swamp that we know that we can't get through. So back to offering the GMC. .62 litres of fuel. So if we'd not bought the GMC up here and refueled earlier, we'd now be down to 9 litres of fuel left. And we would have had to bring it up to be able to continue to the garage. We are running out of fuel in that tank though, so we're going to have to go and fetch some from elsewhere at some point. We don't need to do that yet. I'm actually going to pop into the garage and see if we've got anything new to fit onto the Pacific, as it's been quite some time since we last looked. So we've got the best engine, can't have anything else for that, can't have anything else for that, nor that. We've got the extended heavy. We can't have anything better than that. Can't have the wedge cap yet, and we don't want anything else here. Great, nothing, unless we've got... No. Shall we get a sunscreen? No. Front bumper. We can get reinforced, I don't care for, because it doesn't give us any extra lights. Yeah. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. And can't do anything there. Wow, no, cool. We can't have anything different. Don't know why I'd want anything inside. Cool. Well, that was a waste of everyone's time. No, it wasn't, because we know where we stand with Pacific upgrades, to be fair. See, I was contemplating bringing the Fleet Star up here, swapping out its bed for a saddle low, and using that trailer in front of me to deliver the oil rig drill. And the reason I didn't, apart from, as I said, of getting just 2 trucks in one location, is I also thought that this wasn't one with sides on it. At which point it would have been no better than the one I'm pulling. But actually, now that I see that it is one with sides on, it might have made for a slightly easier trip than what we're about to do with this trailer. I'm just wondering if it's worth doing that anyway, because we've got the Pacific out. Thinking time. Because it says putting the Pacific back in to here again. Tough decisions, tough decisions, tough decisions. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. which I know is a bit of a pain. But it also means that I can get this service trailer back to the garage. But of course, for the third time this episode on this journey, it does mean that we're going to time-lapse once again. So I'll see you at the garage. Cool. So bringing this back at least gives us a easy access repair trailer. So I'm going to repair the Fleet Star. And then, whilst we're here, much like the Pacific, see if there's any tasty upgrades for us. Because I think, again, it's been a little while. So I could put a better winch on this, but I don't think I need it for now. And actually, we've got almost everything we'd want. What I can do is finally put the heavy-duty pipe bumper on this, though, which is good because it protects our existing lights and gives us 2 more. So we like that. I'll purchase the front bumper, sell off my stock one, because I ain't ever going to want that back. And I don't think there's any other extra lights. No, fine. So what we do want to do is put the saddle low onto this. 2 of those for you now. And whilst we're here, do we want to rebrand the Fleet Star? Oh, you can do custom single colour and custom double colour. That's nice. Let's go yellow. Big yellow. That's kind of horrid in a way. So much yellow. But let's have it for now. I imagine it may be changed quite quickly. Oh, look at all that extra light. Just in time for daytime. Cool. Well, this gives us a more stable trailer to take the oil rig drill. Apart from when it does stuff like that. Be interesting to see what the Fleet Star's like with this, because I've never driven one with one of these trailers attached to it. I think I've only ever driven the Fleet Star with the sideboard bed, the thing that we just had. This is the first time. God, I hate the fact that this is yellow now. I don't know why, but the lack of contrast in colour between the cab and the crane is awful. It was a terrible decision. Right, as with all big loads, I'm going to auto load it because I don't want to faff around with the crane. Yeah, I'm quite glad that I bought this rather than the Pacific. I didn't realise it was a 5-slot thing either, so I'm not sure it would have even fitted on that cargo trailer, the ramped cargo trailer, because it's only 4-slot, so glad we made that decision. However, I think I'm going to have to dive into the garage and change the colour of this truck again, because it is unreasonably irritating me. Or irritating me to an unreasonable level. So please bear with me whilst I have a little bit of a crisis over the artistic decisions behind my Fleet Star. It's just waste a bit of fuel doing this. There you go, bit of sea blue. That's a wee bit better. I'd like to maybe play around with a 2-tone colour selector for this and get some more funky combinations on the go, because I like the vintage look that it gives you with the 2 colours. Right, off we go again. Something nice about driving the Fleet Star. When it's not bouncing all over the place, it feels like quite a smooth truck to drive. And it actually handles reasonably well. The Pacific kind of feels like hard work at times because it feels like it wants to veer all over the place. I know I just almost skidded into the trees after saying that, but that was me dodging that rock. And just having the full suite of gears in this, along with both switchable, all-wheel drive and diff lock, is always lovely. Always nice to have the full options. It may be a little less top heavy now that we've taken the sideboard bed off as well. Oh, piss. Let's just refuel again. If anyone wonders why I always hold it down, because that's generally slower than actually just clicking once or twice. Because you can click once and just get it instantly full. Okay. So did the Fleet Star not like this route? Or did we just get a bit optimistic ploughing in the way that we did? I feel it was more my driving than this specific route. Yeah, it was my driving, wasn't it? Anyway, going back to the fuel tank. Going back to the fuel tank. What was my train of thought? Oh yeah. So you can just click and it'll instantly fill up a set amount, which you can click multiple times to fill the tank to its fullest, if those increments aren't enough to do so, and that's quicker than just holding the button down. But there is something really nice and satisfying about holding the button down and hearing the little fill-up sound and getting one, like, nice full tank off one button press, even if it takes a bit longer. So that's why I do it, even if it sounds a bit insane. So high range, all-wheel drive, and hopefully a fairly steady run to the drilling site. We know what the path's like because we've just done it with the Pacific. We know we've got this massive boulder in the road that we just need to dodge right here. And we know at some point I'll probably dive into photo mode to get a picture of this. Oh, I think it looks like a bit like a submarine. In fact, I think it's because it reminds me of the submarine from Thunderbirds, because that's a little yellow one, isn't it? I think. Or am I getting mixed up with the Trotter's Independent Traders van from Only Fools and Horses? I don't know, lots of vintage TV that I'd never really watched much of, but remember seeing it when I was young. Is it Thunderbird 5 that's the submarine? Or is that the space station? Or is that Thunderbird 1? I don't know. I'm going back. It must be 20 odd years since I watched Thunderbird, so who knows? I mean, the fuel consumption is quite high at the moment, but so far this is proving to be a relatively chilled drive. Quite enjoyable after some of the trauma that we've had recently. I knew I'd curse myself by saying that, but we're okay. I'm going to have to be careful because we're coming up to the slightly tighter bit with those tighter turns. So you know those tighter turns that I needed to be careful of. Great. I was just in the process of slowing down. I was thinking like, oh, I can just take this one and then really be careful on the next one. And then here we are. Well, I guess the Pacific's coming in here after all. Ah, brilliant. Another disaster. Right, well, that's one to fix next time, I think. Because this is possibly going to be a bit of a pain in the arse. I hate this. I hate this game. Or do I want to try and fix it now? No, it'll be an episode that goes on forever, I do. So, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all so much for watching. I thought we were going to end on a high, completing this mission, but once again, I have cocked it up after saying everything was going so well. Just lost it on that last corner. Brilliant. Right. See you next time and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. Or is it goodbye? Oh, hello, that's just fallen out. We're back, everyone. It's going to look like moments to you, but this is about an hour after I said goodbye earlier. Because this wound me up so much that I couldn't fully relax until I exorcise the demons of the flipped up Fleet Star. So we're going to fix it. This is going to turn into a bit of a monstrous episode, I think. Possibly. But because otherwise I might spend the next week or so, or however long until it would have been that I'd recorded the next episode, losing my mind. Because this one has properly irritated me. It's possibly the first time in SnowRunner that I've ever been absolutely fuming that something went wrong. You might have heard my soul leave my body a little bit earlier when that happened, when the flip happened. So we're going to fix it. We are going to fix it right now. Would have been easier if the Pacific was still at the drilling site, which it could have been if I'd made the decision to use the Fleet Star earlier. So a whole catalogue of disasters in this one. But we live and learn, don't we? We live and learn. So, the biggest challenge with this, I think, is actually going to be the oil rig drill itself. Because I can't remember whether the Fleet Star is going to be capable of lifting it. Certainly when I tried before, we had some issues. I think that was more actually getting it onto the trailer and getting it to sit on the trailer bed properly, rather than the... Sorry, I can't concentrate. And rather than the lifting of the oil rig itself, or the cargo itself, it was more fitting it in the trailer. And it might have been a different trailer type that did that. So hopefully we can get it to behave this time. But I've got to get there first with the Pacific. I think it's now been a good few episodes where something's gone horribly wrong in each of them, and I've had to mount some sort of rescue mission. Or if something didn't go wrong in the episode itself, it began from something having gone wrong. But yeah, I think what's going to be tough with this is, we've found before that flipping over these semi-trailers with a truck attached is a bit of an arse in itself. But yeah, loading the cargo. Oh, that rock again. Loading the cargo could be a bit of a trauma. I think the other thing is, I was really hoping to get it delivered in what is now going to be this episode, or still is this episode. That makes no sense, because fuck's sake! Right, it's only one tyre. Goodness me. Was that another blip, or is that because the tyre's gone? What is happening, everyone? What is happening? Okay, we seem to be able to cope without this tyre, because it's not on the drive wheels. But I remember saying, was it last episode, that the SnowRunner damage seems a little bit like... a little bit inconsistent. I think sometimes you could bounce off that rock and barely do anything. This time we've just ruined the tyre. What was I saying before that? Exciting disaster. Yeah, I just hope to get this one finished in today's episode, which we're going to do. And essentially start the next episode, which is episode 40, with a nice kind of, hey, we've just completed a big mission. Jeez, I've just noticed that took a chunk out of the suspension as well. I think someone did comment recently saying that they're enjoying the videos that I do on hard mode because I'm not doing things flawlessly. I'm actually making it look like hard mode, because there's some people out there that are so good at the game that it doesn't really show apart from a bit of fuel management. And today you are getting your money's worth of disasters, my friend. Alright, the cleanup begins. Please let this be not too painful. I thought I was about to flip the Pacific then. kind of guns blazing at the moment and not really paying too much attention. So... Right, that was slightly easier than I'd hoped. Bigger issue is actually going to be the crane. It's all going to depend on how light or not this cargo is. So of course my persistent enemy, which is the crane camera, is really helping with this today. Oh, that looks good. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So we are back and we are trucking. And in fact, that whole rescue took about 9 minutes. Possibly less than. So my little hissy fit earlier was a little bit unwarranted. And we made it round the bit that I was actually scared about, that corner, quite easily. So everything's going really well, everyone. Those famous words, right? Oh god. I started skidding off then, so... Going to have a slight bit of an editing nightmare, I think, trying to chop up what was the end of the episode into this. I'm sure it'll be fine. Editing chimp will figure out a way. It might just be the roughest of cuts ever. And I hope that people don't just abandon the episode when I tease them with a goodbye. So we've got a damaged Pacific to deal with. That's not going to be too hard, because it just needs to go back up to the garage where we've got the service trailer, which has got plenty of wheels left in it. So that's okay. And it's not too much of a journey to get back there. It's just a bit of extra fuel that we've lost now. I didn't realise I was in high range. I thought I was in this. I'm going to go right this time, mostly so we don't have to deal with the big conveyor belt that's stuck in middle of path. And I think before I drop this off, we might take a little photo. Great success. At least you don't get damage for stalling. I'm going to put this on the flat over here. Turn the engine off. Put the handbrake on. Cargo management. Moment of truth, everyone. There we go. So we got a promotion. I didn't actually see what rank we went up to. And we've got 1,100 money for that. And some warehouses are now open. Don't know what warehouses they are. I'm going to guess maybe this. We can have fuel. Is that it? Great. I saw something about quarry now open as well. Is that something to do with the quarry loading zone? No, we already had that. Cool. Unsure. Did that count as regional progress, though? I can't remember how we see that. Yeah, all three are done. Interesting. We'll talk about that next time, maybe. But there we are. After an hour's little tizzy and a reconnection with SnowRunner, all it took was 14 minutes exactly. As I'm talking about this, it'll be less because of photo mode and me syncing audio, so it won't be a monster episode. And we can say goodbye on a happier note this time. I'll see you next time for episode 40. Thanks for watching again, as usual, and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye again.